Hey guys, welcome to the New Era podcast, where we discuss all things New Era in entrepreneurship, the roadmap to success, the ups, the downs, the lessons learned, and everything in between. In today's episode, we speak with Zoe Trigwell, the founder of Trigwell Cosmetics. We cover everything from balancing real life to what came before Trigwell Cosmetics, going viral on TikTok, and her revolutionary powder puff. So whether you're watching or listening in, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. You can watch the full episode on YouTube or listen in on Spotify or Apple Podcast. So, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Let's get into it. So, I just want to get straight into it to know about you, because obviously a lot of us have already heard about Trigwell Cosmetics because you've gone viral on TikTok many times. Now, I'm curious, and I'm sure so many people are curious as well, is to know exactly how you've got to where you are today and what came before Trigwell Cosmetics.
So, I am originally a makeup artist. I've been a makeup artist for donkey's years. Well, I say donkey's years. 9 years. I'm not that old. 8-9 years. And I used to have a makeup training academy. Okay. And COVID hit. And I thought, well, I'm out of work now. What do I do? And the plan was always to have a brand. That was always the dream and the plan long term. But obviously it never happens, does it? But yeah, I was pregnant and I was like, right, I cannot sit still. I cannot just sit in my house. Had about a month off for COVID, just relaxing and chilling. And then thought, right, let's get back to it. And Trigwell was born.
That's crazy that you were pregnant and you thought, right, you know, most people would be like, I am chilling out, but you were like, no, business.
Oh my God, literally. I was climbing the walls. I've never had a day off since I've started work. I've never had a day off in my life.
So you've gone through COVID, also being pregnant, and then launching Trigwell Cosmetics.
Yeah.
Crazy. So
times.
did you launch that alongside the training academy at the time?
Yeah, so still had the training academy up and running. Obviously it was closed at the time because of COVID, but it was still active as such. But yeah, I just thought, let's get it going. I sort of, in a way, like really used what I had as an audience already in South Wales for the training academy.
Okay.
To sort of boost the start of the business, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you use that your existing network to then obviously raise the awareness of the brand.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so did you start through an Instagram account, or was it that you literally just used word of mouth to tell people that you were launching this product?
Yeah, so I previously had a brand. This is maybe, I want to say like 2014, 2015, called Lunar Lashes. And it was just literally a lash brand.
Yeah.
And I already had an Instagram account for that, which had maybe, I would say like 2,000-3,000 followers.
Oh, right, okay.
Which was like, at the time was okay. It did all right. Yeah. But it took a backseat when I launched the Makeup Training Academy. Okay. And I just thought, you know what? Let's jump on that, rebrand that whole thing. Yeah. Rebrand that Instagram, use my makeup Instagram as it was at the time, and just use those audiences from there and go from there.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy, isn't it, when you've already got something and rather than starting again, you can utilise the network that you've already built.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh, amazing. So with the training academy, how long did you have that for until you decided to say, I'm going to put my full focus into Trigwell?
3 years.
So you ran it all together?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, 3 years in total. And then it just got too much with COVID. No one was having their makeup done. No one had anywhere to go to have their makeup done. Yeah. So I just thought, let's cut my losses and let's put all the attention into Trigwell.
Definitely. So did you always have the idea from the get-go that you wanted to be an entrepreneur? Or was
100%.
this something?
Yeah. I don't like being told what to do.
Have you ever worked for anyone? Have you ever?
I have. Yeah. I used to work for the water board, literally on the phones, customer service sort of thing. But hated it. Hated every minute of it. And then did makeup on the side, like evenings and weekends, and loved it. And thought, you know what, I'm just going to quit my job. And went full-time into makeup. And I've been self-employed since I was 20.
20. So how old were you when you set up your training academy?
How old was I? I want to say 24, 25 when I first set the makeup academy up.
So you built up as a makeup artist, set up an academy, and then Trigwell Cosmetics came. It's crazy, isn't it, to think the timeline of that's such a short amount of time and you've accomplished so much. And you've had kids in the meantime.
I know, 2 kids.
Crazy. So how old are your kids?
Oh, well, two, almost 3, be 3 in summer, and 8.
Guys, I can't. Like
I can't either. I don't even know how. People say, how'd you do it? And I'm like, I don't.
You do.
I wing it.
Yeah, but we're all totally winging it. But I think having an entrepreneur that can wing all of it like that, like everyone's story is different, but you've got such a good story to tell.
Thank you.
Crazy. So when was it exactly that you launched Trigwell Cosmetics?
So we launched in May 2020 and we launched with just a single pair of eyelashes. That was the only product that we had.
So obviously you had Luna Lash. Mm-hmm. Did you use the same type of like branding for Trigwell Cosmetics?
So completely different branding.
Okay.
We kept with the same. There was one pair of lashes which everyone that used to come to the Makeup Academy and have their makeup done and train and stuff with me used to always ask for this pair of lashes which were called Harmony lashes. That was the style name. And I thought they were so popular, let's just bring them back, but obviously rebrand everything, rebrand the colours, typography, like whole feel of what is now Trigwell.
Yeah.
And let's just put a really popular product that what was popular at the time. Let's bring that back in and let's just push it under a new name. Because when I had Luna Lashes, no one knew that it was my brand. I sort of had like Luna Lashes was over here and it was separated, and Zoe Trigwell Makeup Academy, which is what the academy was called, was here, and no one really married the two together. And I thought, why am I doing this? I'm missing a trick really here. Yeah. Why am I not putting it under my name and using the following or, the audience that I've already got to push the brand further? So
your personal brand. So
yes,
all comes down to personal
exactly.
branding.
Yeah.
So with your personal brand then, obviously it's named after you.
Uh-huh.
How do you think that's impacted the business growth?
In a positive way, I would say. Yeah. Because like I've already mentioned, I used like that audience. I had a pretty good, strong audience in South Wales. I wouldn't say anywhere further, maybe the odd here and there, but in South Wales, the Makeup Academy and myself as a makeup artist, I'd established myself really well at the time. Yeah. So just use that to push it.
Do you think that if you hadn't have built your personal brand and you were starting from the get-go, you'd have seen such successful growth in the beginning?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes, because I'm the type of person I will literally push it until it happens. I will keep going until it's physically done and it's out there. But no, because I think that really gave me an upper hand. It really did.
So if you were to say if there's an aspiring entrepreneur and they're thinking about building their personal brand, but they're reluctant to do so, or they're too nervous about putting their face on camera, what would be your advice to these aspiring entrepreneurs? Like, what would you say to them about building up their personal brand?
Just go for it. It's hard at first and you do feel a little bit strange, especially when you're doing things like, it might be Instagram, like stories and whatever. I did a lot of Instagram stories, what you always used to. I don't so much anymore. Just put your face out there and it might feel strange and you might feel really uncomfortable. Push yourself out of your comfort zone because it will pay off in the long term.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is something that we've struggled with as well, because I think to stay ahead of the game and to keep up with all these businesses, because every single day these new businesses are popping up.
So many.
And you'll see it with your business in terms of people that are releasing items that are maybe the same as your product or similar to your product, and you've got to stay ahead of that. So how do you keep up with things like that?
Just being true to yourself, I think, and trying to think of ways like what's going to make me stand out.
Yeah.
That's how I've always tried to run my businesses and to run my personal brand as well. Why am I different? What makes me so interesting, or what makes my brand so interesting? And just focus on that. Don't focus on trying to copy or do what anyone else is doing. Do something different that'll make you stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, definitely. And your personal brand as well. Because there's only, obviously you can build your brand presence, but if people can relate to you as a mum, as a business owner, people are then going to be able to come to you and say, well, this is your story, and they're buying into you, not just the brand.
Yeah, definitely. I truly believe in that as well.
Yeah.
And it might be like you haven't got similar circumstances to someone that you may see like, oh, they're successful and they're a mum, for example. You might not be a mum, but it might be someone that looks up to you for whatever your circumstances, like,
or even in the future. So for example, me now, I'm not a mum, but I'd sit here and say, oh my gosh, running two businesses, how will I ever be able to like manage that time? But you're doing it. So it's like there's ways out there. So how do you manage to balance that time? Obviously you wear many hats, so
very, very many hats. And I would say I'm very tired all the time.
You don't look it.
Makeup. No, but I don't balance it, is the honest answer. And I think I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's really hard work. And I think you get a lot of people, especially in business, and they'll be like, oh, it's so easy, like I can balance it. No, you can't.
Yeah.
It's not physically possible. It's give and take. There might be that in my family life, I miss out on a few things because business has to take priority. And then again, with business, it might be that I miss out on some opportunities because family life has to take a priority. So it's sort of like just juggling it until it all drops and you have a mental breakdown.
Do you know what? They always say that when you're working so hard, they're just expected. Like I get to a point and I'll say to like Phoebe in the office, I'll go, I think now's the time. Or when she first started, I remember her saying, you don't show emotion. Now is a complete different story. It's like she shows emotion. But we break, and it's so normal. So obviously when you launched Trigwell, you were pregnant.
Yes.
So how did you manage the time of having a newborn and also launching the business?
For me as a mum, and I know, well, maybe some mums will agree with this, some mums won't. Newborn stage is like the easiest stage.
Yeah.
Apart from the lack of sleep, which sends you crazy. But the newborn stage is the easiest stage to sort of do other things. It might be like, even if you're just at home and you're on maternity leave, for example, you can do so much in the house.
Yeah.
So I was just doing, when I had little bits of time, I was lucky enough that we converted my garage in my house to work Trigwell from in the beginning. So when the baby was sleeping, for example, I'd put him in his Moses basket, bring him into like the little work area I was working and do the bits that I was doing. So just managing it in little snippets of time.
Amazing. So what do you feel was the key turning point for success with Trigwell? Was it social media that helped that? What do you feel was the personal key turning point?
Turning point, I've got to say TikTok.
Yeah.
It was 100% TikTok. Without TikTok, I don't think we would be at the position we're at now.
Yeah.
Right now, if that makes sense. I think we would have got there eventually, but it might have been a slower process than what has actually happened.
So when you launched the business, obviously you started on Instagram.
Yeah.
So when was it that you then transitioned over to TikTok?
Fully transitioned over to TikTok. Probably I want to say like March, April time of 2022.
Oh, okay. So
we're still fairly new on TikTok. We haven't been on TikTok that long. I dabbled in it a little bit in 2021 and just thought, oh no, I'm not doing it. I can't. Yeah. Like everyone says, I'm not doing TikTok. I'm not doing TikTok. It's cringe. I'm not. No.
Yeah. Or it takes too much time.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to create the content.
And I couldn't figure it out. I could not figure it out. But yeah, I think TikTok was the turning point. Definitely.
Yeah. We speak to so many businesses every single day that say, I can't do TikTok. One, I don't know how to figure it out. Two, how the hell do you create all the content? Like, how can you keep up to date with posting? Because some people post 3 times a day, 5 times a day. But how do you guys deal with that? So how can you focus on, like, how many times do you post on TikTok a day?
Depends, to be honest. At least once a day, I would say.
Yeah.
But depending if I'm having a really good day, I might do 3-4 times a day.
Yeah.
And it depends on what's going on in the business as well. If there's loads going on or we've got some fresh ideas for content, we'll post multiple times a day. I think with TikTok, it's a little bit different than, say, Instagram because it doesn't have to be so curated, and that is the beauty of TikTok. People on TikTok and the audience that you have on TikTok don't want to see perfect content. They want to see real, raw content. So I think it's really easy just to pick up your phone and film whatever it is that you're doing. You might not think it's interesting to you, or you might think, who wants to watch this? But someone will want to watch it.
Yeah, and that is so true. It's just being raw and relatable. Like we always say, Instagram is filtered. But what is that? Like, why do we feel as though Instagram has to be this aesthetic, edited?
I really
like, even on stories, it's like, do you know what? We'll stick a filter on that. Whereas on TikTok, it's hairs on top of our head, looking horrific. But
no makeup, nothing.
That's the reality of it. So, yeah. It's just being able to share that, isn't it? But I think that's what has such good success, is being able to show the real you. And that's where you think that if we transition that over to Instagram, there would be potentially the same success from that platform as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting. So with TikTok, when it comes to like TikTok Shop, how long was it until you got accepted onto TikTok Shop?
So I can't remember what the process was. Yeah, I cannot even remember, to be honest with you. But we started in summer 2022 on TikTok Shop. Yeah. So again, fairly new in terms of like how long we've been on there.
Yeah.
And it was good at first, and it just turned into a bit of a snowball effect.
Amazing.
From summertime, we were doing maybe a few hundred orders every week.
Yeah.
To doing like thousands of orders every day within a matter of months.
Crazy. So do you also work with affiliates on TikTok then as well?
Yes, we do a lot.
Amazing. How do you find that helps as well?
Massively. I think depending on what we've got content wise going on and what we're posting, majority of the sales come from affiliates. And you've got to have a really, really close relationship with them and build that relationship and build that trust with them. And just love what they do as much as they love your product too.
Yeah. So how do you nurture them relationships with your affiliates? Because I know that even with Gym Law, working with certain affiliates, you'll work with them for a long time, and then maybe they might be approached by another brand and they'll get another brand deal. So then you can't work with them. Is there anyone that you've worked with that you've wanted to keep or you've not been able to? How do you manage them relationships?
It's, for me, I think because I've done a little bit of content creation myself when I had like the Makeup Academy, I know how it works from their side, from a creator's point of view. So I just treat them how I would want to be treated as a creator myself if I was in their shoes, and just being really open, honest, having really open sort of dialogue with them daily. Well, some I speak to every single day, some I have on WhatsApp, and we'll have random chats about absolutely anything, and then others it is more of a business relationship. But I think it's just about being really open and honest, and what do you expect of them? Or do you not expect anything in particular and you just want to share your product with them? Yeah,
it's like they become friends, don't they?
Absolutely.
It's like when they say
really do.
Your influencers, your creators, your customers are always going to become better friends than even your existing friends prior to starting up a business. Have you found that with setting up Trigwell?
Yeah, absolutely. I've never had a massive friendship group, by choice mostly. And I found that because creators are even though it's slightly different, they're in the same sort of industry, especially say like beauty creators with myself, for example. They get it. They get what goes on behind the scenes, and they get how hard that me and the team work on certain products and things like that. So they're really, really supportive.
Yeah, especially when it comes to creating content as well. And I'm guessing if you work on an affiliate basis, they'll obviously, the harder that they work, they're growing you and them at the same time.
Yeah.
Amazing. So when it comes to like big names that you've worked with, who have you worked with since obviously launching Trigwell?
We've actually never done any sort of like paid collaborations. Everything's been really organic, which has been absolutely incredible. We had the opportunity to send products to Lizzo's makeup artist, Jennifer Hudson's makeup artist, who I was absolutely blown away because as a makeup artist myself, I'm massive fans of both of them. But Adam, who is Jennifer Hudson's makeup artist, that was the real big one for me. Because I'm a massive fan of both of them. And to get feedback from him, for example, like even maybe, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, he DM'd me and just said, can I get some more blush? Like I've hit pan on my blush because I love them so much. So
that's crazy.
Can you send me some more? I was like, absolutely.
Yeah, of course I will. So with them products then, have they got like the range of products? Like how many products have you got now?
I don't even know, to be honest with you.
So many.
I can't remember. I think probably like 20 different products, I want to say. It's not a massive range because I want to really, what my plan has been is in regards to like the product development is just really keep it quite small until I build up the sort of brand a little bit more and people get to know each individual product before I go for it. But yeah, I would say under 20 products.
Under 20. Which product then is obviously the best selling product?
Powder puff. The velvet powder puff.
I swear by it. I do, I swear by it. What is it? How does it work? How does it genuinely make? It airbrushes me. And everyone.
It is incredible. And I know I would say that because obviously it's my product, but I truly, truly believe in that product.
Yeah, do you know, I can relate. I can swear by it.
I love that. I love that. It makes me so happy.
Oh, it's crazy. So with the, you're stocked on Beauty Bay.
Yes.
Now, do they stock your entire range or is it the powder puffs? What is it that they stock?
Entire range. So anything that I come out with, I'll go to them first and I'll say, hey, look, I've got this idea or this is currently in production. Do you want it? And they... Well, every single time so far, they said, we'll have it. We'll snap that up.
I mean, so how did you feel when that deal came through?
Oh my God. Well, I posted it on TikTok, speaking about TikTok. A really horrible video, actually, when I look back on it, because I had my hair scraped back and I was in Asda doing my food shop at the time.
It's not a horrible video. That is a true video. That is me every Sunday.
In the middle of it. I'd literally just walked into Asda, had an email through my phone, so picked my phone up and saw it was from a buyer in Beauty Bay. And I was just like, what? Read the email quickly and she just basically said, we're really interested in stocking your products. Can can we jump on a call? And I just burst out crying in the middle of Asda.
Were you on your own?
Yeah. I couldn't finish my food shop. I had to go home.
Oh my gosh, no, that's so sweet. So working with Beauty Bay then, is that something you want to do continuously? Do you want to work with big brands? Do you want to get obviously featured on big websites?
Definitely, yeah. That's in the plan, I would say, for this year and for next year, is growth of obviously working with other retailers and things like that.
Yeah.
We love working with Beauty Bay as well. That relationship is definitely going to continue because we've got a really good relationship with them.
Yeah.
But we're definitely looking to expand globally as well this year.
Amazing. Do you think that they found you on Google search? Do you think they found you on Instagram, or do you think it was because of your TikTok success?
They found me on TikTok. They've told me they found me on TikTok
So
from the
that's where it
Powder
came
Puff.
from.
Yeah.
Right. So with TikTok then, what was the first video that you noticed was like a catalyst for your success?
It was a video that I posted, which was a sneak peek before we'd even announced the Powder Puff.
Okay.
And so no one knew what this product was, but it went viral because I did I sort of just showed half of my face looking a bit more airbrushed and half not. And the video went viral, and that just sort of catapulted and snowballed everything else.
Everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think the moment you can see, because I can't even look back now and see what video it was that was a success, because all of your videos now will have
They all do pretty well, yeah.
Like such good views. So when you post the video on TikTok, do you notice a lot of sales come in from initially posting that one time, or do you feel as though now that the brand is built up that organic sales just come in?
A bit of both.
Yeah.
So we definitely have organic sales anyway. And obviously we work, like we've already mentioned, we work with a lot of different like creators and affiliates on TikTok anyway. So they are always pushing and linking products in their TikTok shop daily as well.
Yeah.
So we see a lot of that. But for example, like individual videos, it's just weird with TikTok because you just never know what's going to go viral and what's not. You could post something completely random.
Yeah.
Like for example, last week, I literally posted a video. Someone said, one of the Powder Puffs coming back in stock, and we were restocking that day. I filmed myself picking up a Powder Puff and took it over to one of the girls in customer service, and I said, Jay, can you restock this please? And it went viral and sold thousands of Powder Puffs.
How many views did it get?
I think it's on over 300,000 now.
It's madness, isn't it? How something, because you could spend hours creating one TikTok. And I think that's what so many people do. They spend hours and then the video flops and they say, right, I'm not pushing that platform now, I'm over it.
Don't think about it too much. Post whatever you feel like at the time. That's what I do, and it does well.
It's madness. Do you remember the boat trend when everyone's just sat in a boat and it's just going on? Like, it's absolute, what even is that? But I find myself sitting there watching people in a boat.
Yeah. You don't know why you watch it and why you like it, but you keep watching it.
There's something about it and it just hooks you in. So I'm trying to think now with like where the brand is going, what is the overall dream for the brand? Like, where do you see yourself taking Trigwell?
I really would love to be in store, on the high street and things like that, and more online as well. We are mainly an online brand, so I really want that online footprint to grow, but take it worldwide. I'd love to go to America, and I'd love to go to Australia with the brand and really push it into retailers over there. So that's the dream. And like seeing like bigger celebrities and things like that, using the product and be fans of the product.
Yeah. So it's the majority of your customer base now in the UK?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. So obviously we've gone over the wins that you're at now. Now you launched during COVID, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
So how do you feel that COVID impacted the business?
Really, it's
a weird topic, isn't it? Because it's a hard time, but business opportunity wise, there was so many opportunities. So obviously you were at home.
Definitely.
You have a baby.
It's a completely different time than obviously what it is now, because like you've already said, so many people had so much extra time and no one knew what to do with their time. So most people were jumping online and doing this, that and the other. But I think COVID definitely impacted in a really positive way for us. Yeah.
And how did you suffer? Because when obviously I've got gym law, now we had a nightmare with stock. So I remember we invested every single penny into stock.
Yeah.
Moved into our offices, and in month one, everything was held at customs, and it was like held at customs for the foreseeable. We had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. How did you have that?
Yeah. multiple times.
Crazy. And import fees.
Oh my God, don't even talk to me about import fees.
It was like, you're not making any profit. If you want it, it costs you more, but you need to figure out how to sell it as well.
Yeah. Oh my God,
so
it's
much,
hard
wasn't
work.
there?
I think we still get a lot of it now.
Yeah.
But God, COVID was just a crazy time because obviously if you're importing stock in, it was just crazy the amount of time that it was taken to get to, even longer. And then obviously the extra fees and stuff, it impacted. And I think it was definitely a learning curve for us.
Yeah, definitely. How did it impact in terms of sales then? Did you ever sell out and have to wait for ages to get replacements or?
Yeah, just because of one, cash flow, I would say, was non-existent in the first 18 months.
Yeah.
And having sort of knowledge to really make sure that you've got the stock there as backup and forecasting and things like that, I never did. I sort of just like, I'll order 1,000 of those. They might, I don't know how long they'll take. Oh, maybe about a month. And then they sell it in 3 days and you're like,
I've got nothing.
I've got nothing left now. What do I do?
Do you think you know how to do that now though? Or is it still unpredictable?
Yes and no. We've got better at it. The last 6 months have been really working hard at trying to focus on my forecasting and making sure that we've got enough stock to keep us going. But with the likes of like TikTok and viral videos, it's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
So you could get like 20,000 powder puffs, for example. I order them in like tens of thousands now.
Yeah.
And you get one video and you sell like 5,000 and then Beauty Bay are on the phone going, hi, can we have 10,000? And I'm like, I've only got 2,000 in the warehouse, so that's not doable.
We are literally running on.
If I give you that, I got none.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
it's a learning curve. It's all a learning curve.
Yeah, I think it is all a learning curve. It is completely winging it. And I think I mentioned earlier to you as well about people in business winging it, because we look at big businesses, even small businesses, we look at them and say, they've got their shit together. Do you know what I mean? They know exactly what they're doing. But in reality, every single day we are winging it. We're going in and we're going, what's happening today?
No one knows what they're doing, really, do they? No one knows.
Even like you could have like a social media strategy and you say, this is what we're going to do for the week. It never goes to plan.
No.
Something else pops up.
It's always changing. I think you can never plan it truly.
Yeah.
You can plan it to a certain extent and plan it so you think the way that it's going to go. But something eventually, somewhere along the line, will always change that and give you a little bit of hiccup in the road. And I think as long as you're prepared for that, like that eventuality, this may happen, then you'll be fine. Just deal with it.
I think that links in with, so if you experience like, any ups and downs in business, which I'm guessing you do, as every business owner does, how do you combat them? How do you face them?
Cry. No, I'm joking. Maybe cry at first.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Cry, scream, kick.
I think just be rational and just think, right, how are we going to resolve whatever this issue is? Like, sit down, have a real good think about it and just tackle it head on. I think I used to, when I first started the business, or maybe when I had my previous business, the Makeup Academy, I used to bury my head in the sand quite a lot and just pretend that it was going to go away, and that doesn't happen. Even if it's something that's bad that has happened and you think, do you know what, I really got to sort this out. Just tackle it head on. It'll be fine in the end. If it's not going to, completely ruin your business, then it's not that bad, You can deal with it.
I think that's a learning curve as well, though, because if you look at how you deal with problems now in comparison to when you first started anything, you'll handle them so much more. So much better. And I think the more ups and the more downs that you go through, you always sit there and think, it can't get any worse. It can't get any worse.
Definitely.
But it will always get worse.
Yeah.
With different things. But you'll be able to deal with it so much better.
Yeah.
And that's showing that you like growth as a person. You get stronger through everything. Like I remember we ordered Gym Law stock and everything arrived and every single logo fell off. It was our first ever custom order. We'd invested like £10,000 into it. Every single logo. I remember putting on a sports bra and it split down the middle. And I was like,
my God.
Maybe it's just this piece. Put on another piece and I was like, oh no.
And they were just faulty, were they?
Yeah. And it was during COVID as well. So we'd waited months to get it through, all the import fees. And I remember thinking, this is the end of the world. But you know what? It wasn't, because there were so many more things that went wrong in business.
They were probably worse as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And you think, do you know what? Like, if you can overcome that, you can overcome anything, because you've got to figure out how to sell something with no logo on it. You can figure out.
I think it's good anyway to have things like that to happen. And the more that it happens to you, then next time, right, this is what I won't do. And you learn from it in a good way. So.
Yeah, and it's expectations as well, isn't it? It's saying, right, okay, well, I can't expect everything to be perfect. So if these things do go wrong, we can combat them with something else.
Yeah.
Like, what is the next step? So if you were to say, okay, the powder puffs have come in, they've got no logo on them.
like how can you combat them? Like what would you have to do to maybe shift that stock? But you've obviously got like a good community now. So you could then turn around to your customers and say, right, we've got these products, and people would buy into the authenticity of it. Whereas what I know from my experience was I buried my head in the sand of saying, right, we won't release it. I won't share the ups and downs of what this product was. We just won't release it at all. And then it was just kind of like a waste of stock because
Definitely.
I thought it wasn't perfect, but people would have bought the story of saying, do you know
Definitely.
what? It's a girl.
And I think people like to hear the backstory. People like to see the ups and downs because life's not perfect. And I think you shouldn't sugarcoat it. I mean, obviously, there's certain things that you're not going to share with your audience.
Yeah.
You're not going to share every single nitty gritty detail that goes wrong. But being really transparent, I think, helps.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that's what's helped you build the community that you've built?
Yeah, absolutely. I think because I showed my face from the get-go and showed different parts of it, like I showed myself lugging like 3 bags, which I thought was 3 bags at the time was maybe like 10 orders in each and like 30 orders. And that was my orders for the week. And I was absolutely buzzing, me lugging that to the post office myself. And I think people go on the journey with you. And I've still got like followers from like TikTok and Instagram that have been there right from the very start. They were there when I first launched those lashes. So I think they appreciate you keeping them in the loop and they feel a part of that community then as well.
Because they've grown with you.
Yeah.
It's crazy to look back and say, how have I got here? Like, how do you think you've got here?
I don't know. Hard work. I think dedication, and just sort of an attitude. Well, I would say can-do attitude. Like, it doesn't matter how I get there. I know I'll get there eventually. Like for me, I knew I would get to this point, and I know that sounds really, and it can come across in a really big-headed way, but I really don't mean it in that way. I just mean I'm so determined that I know I would have got here eventually because I would never have given up until I got to this point.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And further, and
definitely. Because you're not even just doing it for yourself now, are you? You're doing it for your family.
I'm doing it for my family. That's literally, I'm not even doing it for myself. It's nice for myself, but it's mainly so I can give my kids and I can give like my partner and stuff, like, and we can live a nice life, you know?
Yeah. So. And also your kids have now got someone to look up to. It's like, mummy's built this.
Yeah.
Mummy started this, and they can look up to that. And have, like, as a role model.
I love that idea. Yeah. It's really nice.
It is really nice. So proud. So how does the team look at the moment then? Obviously, if you go from where you started now, how has the team developed? How many people are on the team now?
So it's grown really, really fast.
Yeah.
It was just me July last year, still running everything on my own.
Wow.
I hired my first employee in August. She started 1st of August 2022.
Yeah.
And now there'll be 9 of us next month. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
So when, obviously, you ran it then until July.
Yeah.
How did you deal with delegating?
Hard, I think, because when something's your baby and you've done everything, you know the ins and outs. I mean, you'll be exactly the same with this. You don't want to delegate because you think, I can do that better.
Yeah,
like,
you do.
Like, it's not good to think like that. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs will relate to that because you know it inside out. You've built it yourself. So it's hard letting go and it's hard delegating, but you've got to do it for growth. You will never grow if you don't. You can't do everything yourself.
No, you can't. But you do. You end up nitpicking.
Yeah.
Everything. But you do, and I think you are right. We know it inside and out. Mm-hmm. We're passionate about it, and it's hiring that one person that's going to be passionate about the brand as well.
Absolutely.
So with the hiring process, did you have any experience in terms of hiring people, or was it completely new of who to take on?
I had staff in the Makeup Academy, so I had a little bit of experience there, but it's a totally different kettle of fish. I mean, that was a service-based business and this is a product-based business. So totally different sort of roles that I needed. But I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of character, I think. Yeah. So I feel like that always goes well when you're hiring. I think you want to have certain sort of things when you're looking for the person and what the role is, but you also really want to think, well, how will this person fit into what I'm trying to build in this business? The business culture. I think that's so important. I think regardless, like, skills can be taught a lot of the time. You don't necessarily have to have particular skills to be good at a role. Definitely. You can teach them, but you've got to have the right person for your business and for like your culture. Yeah,
100%. So even with the hiring process, so bringing on team members, now strengths and weaknesses, did you find that you delegated where you found that you were weak in some spots, or did you literally just have someone come on to help you? Like, had you identified where you were maybe needed some help in running the business? Because I think in the beginning we just assume we can do everything because you've done it. We feel like we're the best at it, but then we bring someone on that's better and go, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, absolutely. When I first started, for me, my first hire was Jay, who does the customer service, and she's the warehouse manager as well at the moment.
So she's still with you?
Yeah, so she sort of runs everything with the warehouse, and it wasn't so much that I wasn't the best at doing those sorts of things. We didn't have a warehouse at the time, but it was more just to take a little bit of the load off me so I could focus on the growth of the business. But I think as we're sort of scaling now, for me it was finding things that I'm not so good at. Like I'm hiring at the moment for a merchandiser, because I have no idea about merchandising. Again, I've winged it and I've sort of taught myself as I'm going along, but I think it's now time for us to sort of really focus on those key roles that need to sort of scale the business.
Yeah, 100%. So with the hiring process and everything that you've done in the business now, do you think that you've learned from your previous businesses and everything that you've done and you've been able to implement that into this business?
Massively. I've learned a lot of really hard things along the way. Things that weren't so fun previously, and I've definitely taken those with me this time to make sure I don't make the same mistakes.
Yeah, because I think some people will look at it and say, okay, TikTok's blown you up. And some people look at things like that and say, oh, it's an overnight success. But it's not.
No.
Because the running of an entire business, it's not just social media, it's everything else. And everything that you've learned, that you've managed to implement, even your failures in your previous businesses or the wins that you've had, how you can then implement this into this business.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So true.
What do you think was one of the biggest things that you've learned from your other businesses that you've managed to bring into this one?
Don't burn yourself out so much, which I still am not the best at.
Yeah.
But you're no good to anyone. You're no good to the business if you're completely burnt out. So for me, this time around, I really said that I needed to make sure I was taking at least 1 day a week off.
Yeah.
I don't have a full day a week off, but I at least take a good 5-6 hours each day. And I do not even think about the business. I don't look at my phones, anything. That was one of the main takeaways for me, because I got so bad when we used to have the makeup academy, that I used to not want to go to work and not get out of bed. And I just got myself in such a rut where I was overworking myself so much. So I vowed to not do that this time around.
Yeah, I think when you take that step back and then you come back into the business, you're so much refreshed anyway.
Definitely.
And you think differently.
You have better ideas, you work more proactively. You're not so, your decisions are better, you know. So it's important for me, and it's definitely helped me. So
when you say going on about burnout, do you feel as though you can recognise now when it's time to take a step back?
Yeah. I can feel when I'm getting close to that point, and I think I need a few hours out. And it might be that I'll literally just take a couple of hours and I'll go get my nails done. Or I'll take a couple of hours and I'll literally go sit at home, no laptop, nothing. I'll just go watch my favourite TV programme.
Definitely. Just sit.
Yeah.
Sit. Okay, so if we were to think about any aspiring entrepreneurs, now we can do this in two ways, because you're a young entrepreneur, but you're also a young mother entrepreneur and a partner. You are a boss woman. We've established this now.
Thank you.
What would be your advice to aspiring entrepreneurs that are in your position, and also just young entrepreneurs in general?
If you've got an idea, roll with it. And I think don't think too much into it. And I know a lot of people in business may disagree with that and think that you've got to do a lot of planning and you've got to do this, that and the other, but I don't agree. I have always winged everything, and may not be the way for everyone, but just from my experience, I think you can do a lot of the things off the cuff. Important decisions, obviously sit down and be a bit more, sensible with things like that. But when you're thinking about your product, just let your creativity sort of flow and think about whatever it is. It might be a product, for example, what's missing from the market. Just go with it, run with it, and then you can deal with the fallout later. Definitely.
I think when you said about just going with it and not having a plan. Now, did you have a business plan when you launched Trigwell?
No, I've never written a business plan and wouldn't know what to do with it.
Never had a business plan. I think there's remember back in the day, it was if you wanted a business loan or anything, you'd have to go into the bank with this business
Have a full plan and-
You can't plan, especially when you're jumping on a trend. If you're jumping on something last minute, how are you writing a plan for it? You can't.
I know like it's so conventional to write a business plan and have everything in place before you do it. Personally, I don't agree. I know that's really controversial, but I just think you don't have to have a business plan to make something a success.
You're then stuck to that plan as well. And I think you can blind yourself by the opportunities and you can miss out on so much if you've got this tunnel vision of one thing. Whereas I think if you're, the opportunities that you'll have come across, the people that you'll have worked with, the ideas that will have come into the business that would not have been there if you'd have been like, no, this is the plan.
Yeah.
This is the plan. Like we do it every day. There's a new plan every single day of where you're going.
Exactly. I think plan to a certain extent, and it might be plan your day or plan your week, but take every day as it comes, because especially like in my line of work in cosmetics and beauty, trends are changing constantly. You've got to jump on things constantly. Like your product development might go in a different direction than what you initially planned because of trends. So I don't always think you have to plan.
No, not at all. So do you time block? Or do you wing the day? Just wing the day, wing the day.
I know. I wing everything in life, and I know that's bad. I've tried time blocking. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
My brain doesn't work like that.
Have you got a calendar?
Yes, I've got a
Do you
calendar.
look at the calendar?
Yeah. I'm like disorganized, but I'm organized in my own head.
It's like disorganized, organized chaos.
Yes,
that's what it is.
that's
I
it,
can relate to
literally.
it. Do you know what? I bought a pad the other day, and I was like, right, it was like a written diary.
Yeah.
So right, I'm going to write everything in this diary. I took it home. I written it. It's now in my car door, in the passenger seat. I don't even sit in the passenger seat. It's just I've seen it before when I came, and I thought I said I was going to use it every day.
Didn't use
but
it.
Even like my phone. Do you use your phone calendar?
Yeah.
Does it help?
Ish. I don't look at it. I won't lie. I use my notes on my phone. I don't know
All the
why
time.
I always use my notes.
All the time,
I write
obsessed.
everything in there, or I might be like an appointment I've got, or like a call that I've got to jump on. I write it on my notes because I check my notes constantly.
Yeah.
So
Why do we go notes? I'll say and I'll get something in my calendar, and it'll be like a reminder 15 minutes before, and I'll be like, oh
shit.
Right. All right, I'll go brush my hair, have a bit of a wash, brush my teeth, have a shower.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy. So what is the ultimate dream then for Trigwell?
I don't even know.
What is your dream?
Just to be the brand, to be really, really well known.
Yeah.
I think that is it for me. Like for me, my dream is just work on developing really great quality products.
Yeah.
That's literally it. I wouldn't say I've got like an ultimate dream as such. It's more just about getting the brand out there and getting the name out there, and that becoming like a household name, like Maybelline,
Yeah.
Trigwell. That needs to be a household name. I feel like
Definitely. So who's your goal? Where do you want to be stocked? Like, is there a stockist that you're like,
I'd love to be in Boots. I'd love to be in Boots on the high street, just to go into Boots and like see
Boots, are you listening?
Boots. Hit me up.
You need to. It's life changing.
That's like a massive goal for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main one.
If you see it, if you can already envision it. Mm-hmm. Do you believe in visualization?
Yeah, and manifesting. I manifested Beauty Bay.
Did you?
I did. I manifested Beauty Bay in like 2021. And a couple of other things that I manifested at the same time are sort of coming true this year, which is crazy.
That is mental. Yeah. I think I always sit there and say, like, I remember when we got our biggest win at the agency, the girls are like, what? Like, you weren't like so shocked about it? And I was like, because I've already believed. I've seen it. I've been here.
Yeah.
I've been here. Yeah. But sometimes that's a negative as well, because everyone's like, celebrate your wins. Do you celebrate your wins?
Yeah, massively. I'm a true believer in doing that. I'm a true believer of celebrating every little win as well, not just the big things that happen.
I think it's so important.
Yeah,
it's only now I look back on that and I say, you need to celebrate your wins.
Yeah.
No matter how small they are, you've got to celebrate them, because that's how you grow to where you are today.
And it's nice to look back on as well, isn't it? And just be
and
like,
document.
look where I was.
Do you document everything?
Everything.
You look back and you're like, why have I taken a picture of my rice pudding that I had for lunch? But it's a story.
Do you know what we've started doing in the office is every time a certain, like, I feel like it's a milestone or a win, for example, we get a bottle of Prosecco. We have the bottle of Prosecco. We might not drink all of it, for example, but I keep the cork and I write on the cork what it was that we were celebrating at the time. That's
such a good idea.
We've done it for like a couple of things now, and it's just, I feel like it's going to become like our little tradition.
I love that. That is such a good idea. We're going to take that one. So, if you could go back to the start of your journey, knowing exactly what you know now, What would you do different?
I wouldn't do anything different, I don't think.
No. What advice would you give to yourself?
Keep going. Don't give up just because it's not happening instantly. You just got to keep going and keep persevering because it'll happen eventually.
Yeah.
Because I definitely felt like that at the start. I felt like, why is nothing happening? Why is this not gone viral yet? Why is no one talking about this? And I just used to feel like I was just on the hamster wheel going and going. Because it took like a good 18 months, 2 years for anything major to happen. We were just sort of ticking along a little bit, wasn't really making like that much profit. And then it just went boom. So I think all of the work I put in beforehand really helped with that. So yeah, I'd definitely say just tell myself, keep going, keep going.
Patience and perseverance.
Yes.
So is that what you would tell other entrepreneurs that are in your position
100%.
now? What your position then? To just keep going because it will happen if they just...
Yeah, definitely. I think, and if you're keeping working at it, it will happen eventually. If you've got that vision, you feel like you're on the right path.
Yeah.
I think it'll happen for you.
Definitely. Well, I think that brings us to an end. But thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
So you're travelling back to Cardiff now?
I am.
How long will that take you?
Hopefully not too long. I hope I don't hit too much traffic. We'll say about 3 hours, 4 hours if I get lost.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It was a
Thank you
pleasure
for
to have
having
you.
me. Thank you.